Hey friends, I'm Adam, and I have to tell you, I have lived a pretty charmed life. Let me give you a couple examples of what I mean. I used to play baseball like many of you when I was younger, and there was one particular tournament we were in. It was a small tournament, it wasn't anything to brag about, but we really wanted to win, obviously, and we made it to the championship round. We found ourselves playing even with this other team for the whole game until the final inning. They took a one-run lead on us. And so our team came up to bat in the home half of the inning. We got two guys on base and moved them over. So we have runners on second and third, but now there's two outs and I'm up to bat. You guys, I knew the situation. If I get a hit, we win the championship. If I don't come through, game's probably over. So what happened? Well, the first pitch coming in, I loved it. I swung as hard as I could, fouled it off, strike one. Then the pitcher throws two straight balls out of the zone. My count's 2 balls, 1 strike. I know I'm gonna see something to hit, so what do? I gear up, man, I'm ready for it. The ball's coming, I swing, missed. Totally whiffed. The guy slowed the pitch down. He's throwing a changeup. What are you doing? Well, anyway, he won that one. I missed. So we have an even count at 2-2, and I'm a little panicked because I don't really know what's coming. The next ball out of the pitcher's hand is a laser beam straight to the outside corner of the plate, and I know it just in that instant. Oh, I missed it. I should have swung. But the umpire hesitated. And I look back at the umpire and I flash him this little grin, and he was like, ball 3. I was like, that's right, ball 3, let's go. Next pitch coming out, I was a little behind it, but I lined it straight over the first baseman's head. It found grass, we won the championship. I'm telling you, this umpire gave me 4 strikes. I won a championship because of it. Unbelievable. I've lived such a charmed life, but it doesn't stop there. We used to have these dances at my school. I'm not even sure you still have these or if they're legal. They were called Sadie Hawkins dance. They were awesome. The girls asked the guys. It's always a surprise. There's nothing better, right? Well, this particular year, I got wind that there might be a couple girls asking me, and it just didn't know who was gonna ask me first. Well, I was at lunch in our cafeteria one day, and I see the girl that I think's gonna ask me move in my direction, but then I catch another girl coming at me, and I'm like, oh, this could be interesting. There's 2 girls trying to ask me to a dance. But wait, there's more, because another girl from one table over hops up and starts converging. All of a sudden, I have 3 girls asking me to the Sadie Hawkins dance at my table, talking over one another. And at one point, something crazy happened. This one girl kind of edged in front of this other girl. Another girl threw an elbow, and I'm telling you, I witnessed a 3-girl fight, full fisticuffs, trying to ask me to a dance. That's right, 3 girls trying to get me to go. Best experience of my life. It was awesome. But it doesn't even stop there, because I went on a field trip to SeaWorld. Have you ever been to SeaWorld? It's awesome. We were standing beside this huge open tank that was just full of different species of sharks, which are, of course, nature's coolest animal. And I'm standing there with my friends looking in. There were small sharks, big sharks, but all awesome sharks. 2 people down from me was this mom and her toddler. And for the life of me, I don't know what happened. But this mom loses her balance. She drops the toddler in the shark tank, and like a man, I jump in after the toddler. I swim, I punch a shark in the face. I picked up the toddler, gave it back to its mom, because that's the kind of guy I am. Kinda. Let me just confess real quick. So none of those things actually happened to me. Now, to be clear, I have gotten hits in baseball games before. I did go to Sadie Hawkins, and I've been to SeaWorld. I'm not even sure they have sharks. I don't know. But you know what? I have a tendency sometimes in my own mind to make up these stories that I'm like the star of the story. Like, no matter what situation I find myself in, I'm like the main character of the story. And here's what I bet. I bet I'm not alone. I bet there are a bunch of us out there who like to live our lives the same way. Like we are the main character of our story. And while my goofy stories might seem completely ridiculous to you, you'll make fun of me later, that's fine. But here's the truth that I know. I know that there are times in every one of our lives where we act like the whole universe revolves around us, right? The whole universe. And how do I know? Because I've seen it. I've seen it in the way that we treat each other. I've seen us act like we're better than someone else. I've seen it in the way we respond to our parents or someone else who's in authority over us, who we just don't like, we didn't get our way, and so we can respond however we want. Or even when it comes to handling tough times in our lives, man, we just feel like the whole world is against us and something's unfair, so we lash out. Dude, for the next few weeks, we're gonna be in this series that we're starting today. It's called Main Character Energy, because I think we all probably just deal with that sometimes in our lives. And what we're gonna do is we're gonna see how God's word leads us to build a life that looks more and more like Jesus, who was the main character of all time, but he didn't act like it. He didn't live like it. So while our culture continues to be obsessed with influencers and celebrities all building their brands and trying to stay the main character, what I think we are going to discover is that there are so many different ways that we can find significance when we imitate Jesus, the main character ever, whose life is still making a difference to us 2,000 years later. So as we start this conversation, here's what I want you to do. We're gonna circle up with our groups, and I'm gonna have you all read a short section from the Bible, from the book of Philippians, chapter 2, verses 3 and 4, and then I'm gonna have you answer a couple questions that'll pop up on your screens. Hey guys, come on back in. Thanks for doing that. I hope you guys had a great conversation with your groups. I always appreciate how we're able to do this with our groups and kind of just focus a little bit. But hey, let's jump back in. Here's what I want you to see from what you just read. Our lives change the moment we look past ourselves and we begin to take a totally genuine interest in other people. And most of us probably didn't have too much trouble thinking of a time in our lives when somebody made an impact on us because they did that. They took an interest in us. And I'm so grateful in my own life. I've had people like that, people like my parents or teachers or coaches, but one person always comes to mind for me. And that is my junior high student pastor, who took this genuine interest in me, and he connected me with awesome serving opportunities at my church that helped me grow. And he also helped me kind of chase this desire to pursue Jesus on my own. I'll always be grateful for that. In a world that makes it so tempting to live like the main character of the story in every circumstance, I was so lucky to have someone pointing me to a better way just through his example. And really, all he was doing was following the example of Jesus, who told us what he was all about in the book of Mark, chapter 10 and verse 45, when he said, "For even the Son of Man came not to be served, but to serve others and to give his life as a ransom for many." But what about you? Maybe you're a little bit like me and you just have tended at times in your life to live with this main character energy. And if you're not sure if that's you, let me just give you a couple warning signs that might trigger you a little bit. The first is if you just keep bringing conversation back to yourself. No matter what, the conversation just always comes back to you. That's kind of a warning sign. Or right now, maybe you're feeling a little bit isolated. Like you're having a hard time including others in your life. Or if you're feeling jealous of someone, maybe someone on your team or in a class or even online, because they're getting more attention or recognition than you are getting. Any of those kind of triggers something in you. I could keep going, but I kind of think that you get it at this point. Man, I really believe that we have a tendency to live like this, but if that's you, it's okay. I got some really good news, because besides Jesus, everybody that we read about in the Bible who we'd consider to be like a hero of our faith, and they've had seasons where they lived with this main character energy too, where they didn't do everything the right way. They spent seasons like that, but that didn't mean they had to stay in that season, and neither do you. If you're somebody who feels like you're there right now, but you want to take steps out of living that main character energy and find the life that God has for you, let me just offer a couple suggestions that may give you the first couple steps that could help. The first might just be that you need to include people in your life somehow. You need to find a way to include them. Or if you're someone who, man, you just bring the conversation back to you a lot, when you feel tempted to do that, just stop yourself. Refocus the attention on someone else and ask them a question about an interest of theirs or an experience they've had. Hey, have you found yourself jealous of someone? Pray for them. Ask God to bless them and to help you overcome the jealous feelings that you've been having. Or one more, for those of you who are on social media, seriously consider just shutting it off for a while. Cut yourself off from the comparison and that feeling of like dissatisfaction with your own life when all you do is look at other people's highlight reels. Jesus, of all people, he could have lived like the main character, but he knew there was a better way. He knew that by living a life of service and sacrifice for you and for me, he would set an example that we can follow. And ultimately, he led us in that way by saving us through dying on a cross. What an incredible act of service and sacrifice to us. And now, most of us out there, we've been impacted by someone who's made a difference in our lives by simply taking a genuine interest in us. They've refused to live their life like they were the main character of the story for our sake. That's incredible. And here's the deal. For you Christ-centered difference makers who are brave enough to do the same, the impact that you could make on the world around you might just make you one of the main characters of someone else's story, not just now, but forever. Students, let's commit to being a group of Christ-centered difference makers who imitate our main character by not living like one.